Val Kilmer, a homegrown Hollywood actor who tasted leading man stardom as Jim Morrison in Batman, but whose protean gifts and elusive personality also made him a high-profile supporting player, died on Tuesday in Los Angeles. He was 65. The cause was pneumonia, said his daughter, Mercedes Kilmer. Mr. Kilmer was diagnosed with throat cancer in 2014 but later recovered, she said. Tall and handsome in a rock star sort of way, Mr. Kilmer was in fact cast as a rocker a handful of times early in his career, when he seemed destined for blockbuster success. He made his feature debut in the slapstick Cold War spy movie spoof, Top Secret, 1984, in which he starred as a crowd-pleasing, hip-shaking American singer in Berlin unwittingly involved in an East German plot to reunify the country. He gave a vividly stylized performance as Jim Morrison, the emblem of psychedelic sensuality, in Oliver Stone's The Doors, 1991, and he played the cameo role of Mentor, an advice-giving Elvis as imagined by the film's anti-heroic protagonist, played by Christian Slater, in True Romance, 1993, a violent drug chase caper written by Quentin Tarantino and directed by Tony Scott. Mr. Kilmer had top billing ahead of Sam Shepard, in Thunderheart, 1992, in which he played an unseasoned FBI agent investigating a murder on a South Dakota Indian reservation, and in The Saint, 1997, a thriller about a debonair, resourceful thief playing cat and mouse with the Russian mob. Most famously, perhaps between Michael Keaton and George Clooney, he inhabited the title role and the Batsuit in Batman Forever, 1995, doing battle in Gotham City with Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones, and the Riddler, Jim Carrey, though neither Mr. Kilmer nor the film were viewed as stellar representatives of the Batman franchise. Serious audiences will be less interested than ever in what's under Batman's cape or cowl, Janet Maslin wrote in the New York Times. There's not much to contemplate here beyond the spectacle of gimmicky props and the kitsch of good actors, all of whom have lately done better work elsewhere, dressed for a red-hot Halloween. But by then another, perhaps more interesting, strain of Mr. Kilmer's career had developed. In 1986, Mr. Scott cast him in his first big-budget film, Top Gun, 1986, the testosterone-fueled adventure drama about Navy fighter pilots in training, in which Mr. Kilmer played the cool, cocky rival to the film's star, Tom Cruise. It was a role that set a precedent for several of Mr. Kilmer's other prominent appearances as a co-star or a member of a starry ensemble. He reprised it in a brief cameo in the film's 2022 sequel, Top Gun: Maverick. Image. He played the urbane, profligate gunslinger Doc Holliday in Tombstone, 1993, a bloody western alongside Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton as Wyatt, Virgil and Morgan Earp. He was part of a robbery gang in Heat, 1995, a contemporary urban high noon-ish tale that was a vehicle for Robert De Niro as the mastermind of a heist and Al Pacino as the cop who chases him down. He was a co-star, billed beneath Michael Douglas, in The Ghost and the Darkness, 1996, a period piece about lion hunting set in late 19th century Africa. In Pollock, 2000, starring Ed Harris as the painter Jackson Pollock, he was a fellow artist, Willem de Kooning. He played Philip of Macedon, the father of Alexander the Great, Colin Farrell, in Oliver Stone's grandiose epic Alexander, 2004. Throughout his career, Mr. Kilmer often left an impression, with movie viewers as well as movie makers, of unpredictability. Most actors recognize there's something different in Val than meets the eye, Mr. Stone said in a 2007 interview for a segment of the television series Biography. The playwright and screenwriter David Mamet, who directed Mr. Kilmer in the political thriller Spartan, 2004, noted, "What Val has as an actor is something that the really, really great actors have, which is they make everything sound like an improvisation." On the screen, he was both charismatic and curiosity-piquing, an actor who didn't let his characters give emotional clues away easily. Off the screen, he had his share of disagreements, especially early in his career, when he earned a reputation for surliness and self-involvement. A 1996 cover article about him in Entertainment Weekly was titled, "The Man Hollywood Loves to Hate." "He offended people by being hard to understand," said Mr. Stone, one of several people who said over the years that Mr. Kilmer turned them off before turning them back on again. Robert Downey Jr., who co-starred with Mr. Kilmer in the wry 2005 murder mystery Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, acknowledged in the Biography segment that he couldn't stand him when they first met, though they eventually became great friends. "I'm sure this can't be news to you that he's chronically eccentric," Mr. Downey said. Val Edward Kilmer was born in Los Angeles on December 31, 1959, and grew up in the Chatsworth neighborhood in the far northwest part of the city, where his neighbors were Roy Rogers and Dale Evans and his high school classmates were Kevin Spacey and Mare Winningham. His father, Eugene, a real estate developer, and his mother, Gladys, Extat, Kilmer, divorced when Val was 9. A younger brother, Wesley, drowned in a swimming pool in 1977, an event that haunted Mr. Kilmer for years afterward. His memories of that loss were at the center of his performance in The Salton Sea, 2002, about a man driven by guilt who seeks redemption after witnessing the murder of his wife and not being able to save her. There are several points in the movie where the guy just can't go on, Mr. Kilmer said in an interview with The Times in 2002. I didn't really get back to Earth until about 2 or 3 years after my brother died. He applied to the Juilliard School in New York and at 17 became one of the youngest students ever admitted to the acting program there. At Juilliard, he and several classmates wrote and performed How It All Began, adapted from the autobiography of the West German urban guerrilla Michael Baumann. In 1981, after Mr. Kilmer graduated, he appeared in a professional production of the play at the Public Theater. He made his Broadway debut in 1983 in The Slab Boys, a drama by John Byrne about young workers in a Scottish carpet factory with a cast that also included Sean Penn and Kevin Bacon. He later played Hamlet at the Colorado Shakespeare Festival in Boulder in 1988 and the male lead, Giovanni, opposite Jean Triplehorn in a Public Theater production of the lurid Jacobean tragedy, 'Tis Pity She's a Whore, directed by Joanne Akalaitis in 1992. Mr. Kilmer's marriage to the actress Joanne Whalley, whom he met on the set of Ron Howard's children's fantasy film Willow, 1988, ended in divorce. In addition to their daughter, his survivors include their son Jack. Mr. Kilmer lived on a ranch near Santa Fe for many years and once pondered a run for governor of New Mexico. Mr. Kilmer's other significant film credits include The Island of Dr. Moreau, 1996, a horror movie based on an early novel by H.G. Wells, Wonderland, 2003, a murder story based on a true crime in which he played the pornography star John Holmes, and Twixt, 2011, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, about a horror writer whose book tour takes him to a creepy town haunted by a murder of children years earlier. Like his fellow actor Hal Holbrook, Mr. Kilmer had a long-standing fascination with Mark Twain, and he spent many years researching and writing a one-man play, Citizen Twain, which he began performing around the country in 2010. Mr. Kilmer, who had trouble managing his weight, gave his interest in Twain credit for helping him slim down at last. He also appeared as Twain in a 2019 film version of True, Once You're a Star, You're Always a Star. Thank you for watching. Please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.